San Francisco because we're kind of starting our journey in LA and moving upward from there. But I would love to try to at least get you at Walker Stalker in Atlanta when you're not so busy, because I know you've contributed a lot to those panels.
Yeah, definitely. We'll both be there, and I think it'd be great to get Karen in on it too, because she's just really enthusiastic. But either one of those would be awesome. Okay, so I want to know why do you do this? What drives you to do these films?
Well, what drove me to do the Star Wars films was just the passion that I had for Star Wars. I was kind of a depressed fan in 2006. That was after Star Wars, after Revenge of the Sith was released. And I was really looking for something to do more as a fan. I wanted to contribute, and I'm sure you can relate to that. I mean, with the podcast show and just being the admin and a lot of the panels, I wanted to kind of give back to something that gave me so much. Mm-hmm. And then the first film wasn't done the way I wanted to, and I'm like, man, I really had a good time, and I want to do more films. And then The Force Within Us, the opportunity came several years after, and it was kind of more about my story and kind of everybody's story, kind of stemming from, mine. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I wanted to do a third one, well, I'm doing several movies now. I mean, I left the music business, which was what I was in full time, and I've completely got into film full time now. So I'm going to be working on a lot of different projects. Okay. But I love documentaries, and I love, as far as, I did the Star Wars stuff, and The Walking Dead only made sense to me to do, is because I was a fan. I am a fan, and I wanted to do something that could have a little bit of the same feel that The Force Within Us and The Force Among Us had. I didn't want to go from Star Wars to, a documentary about whales or a documentary about the food industry or something like that. I wanted to capture the essence of the fans and their story about something that is so successful because of them. I mean, if you take away the fan base, the franchise, it's still great story writing, but if you take away the fan base, you don't have this franchise that The Walking Dead has become. Mm-hmm. And I think telling the stories of the fans and the people that support that franchise is an important story that needs to be told. And when I found out that it wasn't done yet, I know there's going to be more films after me. I can only imagine. When I made the Star Wars documentaries, it was probably like the 20th Star Wars doc that was made. Mm-hmm. So I think because of being a fan and wanting to celebrate my fandom and tell the stories of others,
that's great.
I think that is why I want to do this.
That's super cool, man. And I do think that listeners of this podcast and other Walking Dead podcasts are probably some of the most devoted fans, the ones that will go out and look for more material. So if you're listening to this, I hope that, and you seem like you might be interested in watching this film, then Chris needs support. He's doing a Kickstarter, and it'd be great if you would go check it out. There's a, video on there explaining more about it. And what are some of the perks that people can get?
The perks that people can get, they range all the way from a patch. We've designed 3 patches, a sheriff's patch like Rick's, also like a cityscape of the hero walking down the street, and then a walker coming out of the ground. Those are the 3 different designs. And we did that as a patch design. We've also made some shirts available, some posters. We are filming on location in Atlanta, where they filmed the TV show, of course. So we're doing some production stills that we're going to take from out there. You can also be our roadie for the day and hang out with us, help us work on the film, just kind of be part of that experience and kind of see how documentary films are made. There's several different ones. You can even throw in $5 and have your name mentioned on our Facebook page, which is The Walkers Among Us. You can get your name in the credits. Also, a producer credit, which you also receive an IMDb credit. And as you know, IMDb credits are not just handed out to everyone like they were, 10 years ago.
That sounds great. I'm curious, are you talking to, you said you talked to Lou Temple. Are you talking to other cast members?
Yes, we are. We are talking with Scott Wilson this weekend.
Nice. And
also Michael Roker. We're kind of running into these opportunities to talk to the cast members kind of at last minute. But that's the plan for the weekend, along with interviewing superfan David McGee that, built a custom Daryl Dixon motorcycle. He spent like $10,000 of his own money and built this awesome bike. So we're going to chat with him as well.
I have a picture of Karen on that thing, by the way.
Oh, you do? Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because you're like right there. That's an example of your story tying in with David's story. And I think it's in the end you're going to have like how all these Walking Dead fans, they're all different and they come from different walks of life. But The Walking Dead is the one thing that they have in common. Totally. And it kind of brings us all together, It's the interesting thing about Walking Dead that maybe is a little different than Star Wars is it like we have a lot of listeners from different areas around the world, and Walking Dead brings up these questions that divide people too. So we end up having these long discussions with people who write in, or not long discussions, but we talk about the issues and then they will write in and sometimes disagree. But it makes me feel even better to know that, hey, this person that I have this disagreement with, I might never have come into contact with them, but we still connect over this Walking Dead thing, even though we come down on different sides of this moral thing that the show has brought up. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that's one of the great things about the show as well is that it's very thought provoking and people do have different backgrounds and even different religious beliefs that kind of tie into their fandom as far as their view on the show. And moral beliefs, are you the governor or are you going to be Rick Grimes, and it's interesting that there's so many people that have so many different answers, All
right. Well, I'm stoked that you're talking to Rooker. I can't wait to see how that comes out. And people, if you want to support this, just Google The Walkers Among Us. That was the way that I found the Kickstarter page, and it was the first link. Do you have any other way that you want people to get a hold of you or to send them?
Yeah, you can go to Facebook and just like The Walkers Among Us, and you can also just go to Kickstarter, and if you type in Walking Dead, it'll be one of the top three things that pop up. And we definitely would appreciate any kind of support from the fan base, just because, this is a independent film. This isn't backed by some big studio in Hollywood. This is not, AMC is not paying for this. This is not an authorized documentary. This is a documentary made by the fans for the fans. And, we're hoping next year we'll do the film festival circuit and maybe it'll get picked up and get a distribution deal and maybe appear on Netflix. But the thing about it, when you contribute to the Kickstarter campaign, you are definitely getting a copy of the DVD, the Blu-ray, a download. This is definitely one way that you can guarantee that you get it.
Cool. And for those of you who want to see what Karen looks like, if Chris happens to get around to filming us, this might be your way to do that.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Chris.
Even putting a face with your voice as well.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, man. I'm excited to see how it comes out. I'm glad you're doing that.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on the show, man. Sure. I really, really do. You have a wonderful weekend.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, man. We'll see you.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Now let's move on to listener moans, groans, and grunts. All right. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go first.
All right. This one is from Jamie Dimmick. Hi, Jamie. She says, great episode, 8.897 out of 9 brains. Everyone's doing 8 out of 9 now. Out of 9.
I love it.
I'm sure everyone else will cover all the details better than me, but I did have one thought going into the finale that I wanted to share. I kind of hope we never see Beth again. Hear me out. The idea that in the apocalypse you meet people, then never ever hear from them again has been mentioned before. I think Beth would be the perfect character to drive this idea home. And it's about time that a member of the group just disappears. Not everyone can have a hero's death, and even you can't always find your friends again. I will miss Beth. Don't get me wrong. Daryl even said in the episode, she's just gone. For some realism to the show, she should stay that way. So what I want to know, Jamie, is why do you hate Beth so much? I mean,
I think Jamie has a good point.
She obviously hates
Beth.
Emily Kinney. No, I'm just kidding.
and envies her,
I think you have
beautiful voice.
An excellent point, but I doubt that they would ever do that because it would just be too unsatisfying for Beth fans.
Yeah, but I think you've got an excellent point, too.
Totally.
People do just disappear. Even in the non-zombie apocalypse world, people just disappear all the time.
I'm going to disappear right now.
Snapping my fingers. But I mean, from your life, they don't actually disappear from the planet, but they disappear from your life.
Right.
And so, yeah, I can kind of see that.
But see, okay, I'm always a proponent for realism, but I guess, I can kind of see where in a story you would want to have things have some kind of meaning, maybe. I don't know. I'm like, I am definitely for them meeting, like this guy Morales that went off from the first season and we never saw him again. Like, I hope we never see him again because he really didn't have time to make that much of an impression on us anyway. So he's the perfect character to say, okay, this is someone that some people just don't ever show up again. Beth, I would feel unsatisfied if we never saw Beth again. Part of me would.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Who the hell took her away in that car? Especially because of the way she went. I'm like, I want to know what that was all about.
It's funny that Daryl didn't say much to Rick about that. Like, that was an important plot point.
I think he felt bad about not having done more, maybe.
And answering the door when the dog was barking.
No,
don't you do that.
That's a great thought, Jamie. And this week we got so many emails and calls, by the way, because you guys had a huge response to the finale. And so I just really tried to go through and pick ones that had things that, we didn't already talk about. Okay, go ahead, Karen.
This next one's from Brian Lee, who writes, question, was Herschel's suggestion of Rick being a farmer and getting the pigs the beginning and the end? Didn't the pigs bring the virus?
Yeah, did they? I think there was a suggestion of that.
Swine flu?
So maybe it's pigs in combinations with zombies that make that virus. So now that there's no pigs around, they're okay.
And Brian, are you implying that it's all Herschel's fault? Is that what you're?
Yeah, that's what he's saying straight up.
Implying?
But that virus, like, if it never comes back, do you think it was kind of a cheap plot element to just throw in there and then ignore?
No, because viruses happen too.
That's true, huh? And then they go away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was bringing the realism.
Good point. Jesus Aravalo says, do you have any season 5 predictions? I predict Morgan making a return to help Rick and the group.
Wow. Speaking of a character who faded from view and we haven't seen since. That's a good prediction. But yeah, I do. I think that the weapons that Rick hid are going to make an appearance. Mm-hmm. So that's not the last time we see those hidden cache of weapons. Carol
and Tyrese.
Save the day?
Save the day, maybe. I predict Morales will come back. No, I'm just kidding.
And what's your prediction for Beth?
I don't know. Like, I kind of hope that whoever took Beth is something completely different that we don't know anything about yet. Not related.
Yeah.
But we'll learn,
Right. All right.
I don't know.
All right. And Jeffrey Bray writes, there were many great moments in this episode, but among those great and exciting scenes you will talk about, the flashbacks were some of the most heartbreaking scenes to date and my favorite. This episode left me feeling all kinds of emotions. On one hand, I was so revved up and excited by all the action and the possible scenarios to come next season, but on the other, I was left feeling sad. I have come to love these characters. Yes, I know they were just characters, and I hate that they all have suffered such loss. I don't mean the obvious loss like people, but simple things like security, joy, and peace. The scene with Beth, Judith, and Herschel, Rick, Carl and Rick planting a garden is what you wish for all of them. It is devastating to know that for a brief moment they had felt such a sense of security, joy, and peace before it was ripped so horrifically and violently away from them.
By the governor.
God. Yeah, he's such a dick. To me, this season has one agenda: to make the viewer feel everything the group felt. We were terrified for the group when the outbreak hit because all of us were vulnerable and have a hard time pronouncing that word. We hated the governor for everything and we all wanted him dead. We grieved alongside the group when Herschel was murdered. We felt lost and frustrated when we were separated from the gang, and we all thought long and hard about what to do in Carol's position with Lizzie before feeling her anguish with the final decision. Finally, we felt that in this horrible world, we would come together, plant a garden, and build a life. By juxtaposing the possibilities in life and the reality of life in the season finale, the characters we love and us, the viewers, were left with that awful, haunting feeling of what could have been. Brilliant. That's why I think season 4 was the best season so far. Nice.
That was a great email, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the show, is it leads you through these emotional states that the characters themselves are experiencing. And sometimes that's uncomfortable and people like say, I don't like that. But it's just like you would feel if it was really happening to you. Like, I want everything to be nice.
Right. Yeah. That's great. Jeffrey, thank you for writing. That's really good.
Our friend Jen Jacobs from San Diego wrote in and said, did anyone notice that Rick recognized Tara when they were in the train container? I wonder what the interaction will be like when or if he confronts her. I didn't notice that, but now that you say it, I think maybe.
Yeah, I did notice it. And then right away, Maggie spoke up and said, these are our friends, and they helped us survive. And then Daryl said, then they're our friends too.
Maggie didn't recognize Tara, though.
I know. She doesn't know.
But she saw that, I guess she saw Rick kind of got his hackles up or whatever.
Right, right.
Also, could it have worked if Daryl claimed Rick, Michonne, and Carl? I claimed them.
You're mine.
Rules,
what?
Right?
What?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Our friend Mark Manfrey writes, what are your thoughts on the following? 1, guns. The bag of guns Rick buried outside Terminus will undoubtedly come into play, though the $64,000 question is how.
The zombies find the guns and start shooting each other.
Nobody wants an armed and dangerous zombie. Yeah. 2, Carol, Tyrese, and Judith. Rather than using the front door, did an off-screen Carol and Tyrese do a recon of Terminus as well, thus letting them see the events of train car A? Or are they already captured, perhaps in that quickly passed rail car of screaming survivors?
I don't think they're already captured.
I don't think so either. I think they had that little house adventure and that they're behind them. And yeah, I would like to think that Carol and Tyrese saw what was going on outside the fence and they're like, oh, this place is bad. Yeah.
But I wonder if they will refer to baby Judith as Veal.
Oh, that's just wrong.
That's wrong. You laughed.
Veal is wrong. I did laugh. Oh, sorry. And 3, Beth, and he writes, she was dubbed the new sheriff in town by Rick. I smell foreshadowing. I think she is safe with a yet to be revealed comic character. And we're going to see a very confident and aggressive side of her that could possibly aid in the group's rescue. Go, Beth.
Beth will be the savior, maybe.
I like
Interesting.
it.
I don't know what comic character he's talking about, but I totally forget what happens in the comic at this point. That was years ago.
There's been a lot of them.
Yeah, I know. Okay, thanks, Mark. Malcolm Taylor writes, what's up, guys? First time writing in, longtime fan. Just want to say the season finale was amazing. 8.7 out of 9 Herschel heads. I want to comment, however, about the difference between Gimple and Mazzara. I must say I enjoy both, but the characterization of the season has been way better than season 3. However, one thing Mazzara was right about is that if characters don't die, your sense of a threat goes down. I remember thinking that when the group left the prison that in order for us, as the audience, to believe that fighting the governor from the prison was worth it, some people were going to have to die out on the road. So now we have made it to the end of the season and we have 0 zombie deaths to our friends, which makes me think, did Rick make the right decision? Obviously not if they can survive so well on the road separate. I believe AMC or Gimple have lost the guts that Mazzara has in killing off main characters. Gimple's kills: Herschel, Lizzie, Mika, Governor, Martinez. Mazzara's kills: Dale, Sophia, Shane, Andrea, T-Dog, Lori, Axel, Milton, Merle. I mean, is there even a comparison here? What do you guys think? Did you feel like our characters were in danger on the road, or did you feel like they should have showed the danger more by killing someone on the road?
I think that our characters should never, ever die.
I think, logically you have a point, but emotionally I didn't feel that. Like I said already, it's been a thrilling ride. And I do feel like even if it was this thrilling all next season, say, and no main characters died, then I would start to feel like you're feeling like, oh, they've lost the guts to do it. But at this point, like, I've just loved this season, and I haven't felt like, oh, they're not in danger anymore. I'm a little concerned about that. It's like, I do definitely feel Daryl's not in danger. I think there's no way they would ever kill him off.
Yeah, it's true. But there'd be riot in the streets.
Probably Rick and Carl too. But everyone else, I still don't have the feeling like everyone else is safe.
Yeah.
And that's when I feel like the show will have lost power. When you start to feel like, oh no, they're not going to kill anyone off, then it won't be as thrilling. But I just don't feel like that yet.
Oh, I don't. I was shaking last night. I mean, really, actually shaking watching a stupid TV show. I mean, I am very afraid for all the characters. So I don't feel like anybody is safe at this point, especially not in a railroad boxcar with a bunch of crazy cannibals. So, okay. Anyway, thanks for writing. Next one's from Laura Willie Swink, who writes, Jason, thank you for the backstory on the Fonz. I only remember him. I only remember him as Joe Cool with a gal on each arm, a babe on each arm, and the ability to fix a jukebox with at Al's with a jab of his elbow. God, that was cool.
That was such a great show.
Oh my God. I never thought Daryl had as much game as the Fonz, but I guess I can see the similar backgrounds. Last week, the caller compared Daryl to Legolas. I do think he has archery skills and the cool kills, but I think Legolas would frown upon Daryl's surly demeanor and overall lack of personal hygiene. Maybe a Legolas / Gimli love child?
Gimli's the swarthy dwarf. You're right that Daryl doesn't have as much game as Fonzie, but Norman Reedus does.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. By the way, these emails are all edited, and Laura had this really well thought out email, but that was my favorite part.
It's hilarious. I love it. Thank you, Laura.
Eric Sherman says, also a point of curiosity, when they surprise Gareth and company in the broadcasting room, they have their weapons returned to them before shit goes bonkers. I suspect the food Mary is dishing out is drugged, so it was part of the plan to catch them off guard before robbing them. Does that jive with the comics? If not, it seems like an unnecessary step in the process of tricking Terminus outsiders. Disarm, rearm, disarm, train car. We already kind of covered that, yeah. We think it's drugged.
Drugged, man. That way they get them in there without any harm or permanent damage and possibility of zombiness.
They might add a little like pro-growth hormones in there too to help fatten them up.
That would be nice. Chris Erdley writes, if these people are cannibals, how does that work if we are all infected? Does that mean that we would have to keep the people alive and eat them part by part? Otherwise, they are just another zombie.
They have to kill them and then have a big old barbecue for the whole town.
Well, I guess I'd have to maybe kill them by a headshot. So that would keep them from turning. Yeah. So, just thwack them in the head, and then they're just dead humans. They're not dead zombies.
I guess so. Yeah, that's what we'll say. Because, if you just killed a human by shooting them in the head, then with their dead body, then zombify. I don't think so. That's just ridiculous. I don't know. Okay, let's go on to the quick back and forth. Eric Sherman says, wow, so good. I give it 9 out of 9 ransacked prison refugees.
Richard Rowe writes, I would have to give this episode 6 brains, 1 spleen, and 1 plate of liver out of 9. Anyone got any fervor beans and a nice bottle of Chianti? Oh, wait, not fervor beans.
Fava beans.
What are they?
Fava
beans.
Yeah. He calls them fervor beans. Jesse Gonzalez says, the season finale was fantastic. It might be the best episode I've seen of the entire show, not just the season.
I agree. Jose Estrada says, I love how Rick just turned into an unstoppable force when he saw the slime ball with his hands on his son. As a father of 3 very young girls, that's how I pray that I would respond if my kiddos were in any danger. Me too.
Maureen Stewart says, I think that Carol, being as cunning and smart as she is, kept a low profile and approached to Terminus, and that she witnessed some of the shootout. Carol's going to save their asses, or at least have a big part in it.
Wouldn't it be cool if she did?
That seems like what would happen.
That'd be full circle Carol, too, man. You know, going from the abused wife to that. That would be awesome. I want to see
full circle would be if she married Daryl and then started abusing him.
Oh, that's hilarious. Nick Quinto writes, when will Carl stop getting traumatized? What is it going to take for him to finally snap and not be able to come back? God, I know. That kid gets traumatized every episode.
But he seemed okay. Yeah, he seemed like the part where Rick was cutting into that guy and he just looked kind of frozen right after he almost got raped. God. But then a little bit later, they all seemed kind of at peace. Matthew Frere said, love the episode, 8.8 out of 9 buried guns in the woods.
Drea Age writes, holy shit, this is my favorite episode so far, like ever.
Like totally. Tara McConnell says, most boring finale ever, even though yes, Rick is a badass. Worst season yet. I was so disappointed after way too many episodes this season. You wouldn't would you call this the best season? Because you were disappointed with some of the episodes too.
Just a couple episodes, but yeah, overall, from very beginning to end, yeah. This is my favorite. Yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna have to say that's true. Sorry, Trill, but hey, thanks for writing. Danny in Boston writes, for the first time I can remember in the show, I got very uncomfortable watching the show. That scene was just brutal to watch. It was great, but I hated it. God, Danny, I completely agree. It was really rough.
Me too. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Pete Ilani Requiro says it was gory and exciting. I gasped when Rick took a chunk out of Joe's jugular.
Hi, Piolani. Evan Brookman writes 4.2 out of 5 extreme hickeys. That was an extreme.
Ryan Dark Hunter Van Aken says, I hope Carol comes to Terminus and makes them all look at the flowers.
Chrissy Barr writes, this is torture. I can't wait till next season.
Okay, let's do calls. Lots of calls this week. I can't play them all, but thank you guys for calling in. The first one is Matt from SF.
Hey, Jason and Karen, it's Matt from San Francisco. Here's your ironic thought for the day. Driving down the freeway, and I see what looks like the remains of a deer that has been probably dragged along for about 30, 40 feet, and there's blood all over the lane, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, that is so disgusting, and I'm nearly getting myself sick, and later on I'll go home tonight and rewatch people's heads and getting cut off, and zombies getting smashed, and little girls getting shot, and thinking, more. Anyway, that was my thought.
Well,
anywho, that's my thought.
I'm glad that you were at least disturbed by the deer and you weren't just like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
right?
He was disturbed.
Yeah,
you're
a good person, Matt.
Thanks for calling.
Charlie from Brooklyn is next. Our friend Charlie.
Oh my God! This is Charlie. I'm calling from Brooklyn. I'm screaming in my room. Like, I had to call you guys. This scene with Rick ripping into this guy's neck deserves a call of its own. This shit was crazy. Best scene ever. It was so dark and disturbing. They were going to rape Carl. Oh. No. But anyway, this was just insane. I don't care what anyone says. Scale of 1 to 10. This scene was 100. I was screaming in here. I thought my neighbors were going to knock on the door. It was just like gripping. I loved it. I can't believe they went dark like that, and I'm so glad that they did. But holy shit, Rick ripping into that guy's neck. Why was that so satisfying? Does this mean that I'm dark? and
Yes.
disturbed. I guess it does, because that shit was just crazy. I loved it. Anyway, I can't wait to hear what you guys think and what the other listeners think. But I'm looking at just losing their mind. One girl is like, Rick, marry me. Anyway, all right, I look forward to the podcast and to hearing what you guys think about it. So anyway, good night, and don't get bit. And if you do, I'll help you if it's Rick. Okay, bye.
Thanks, Charlie.
That was a great call. What if we had just said, this episode is just too brutal for us and we're going to stop podcasting, but we want to play this one call from Charlie. He loved it, you sicko. No, I'm just kidding. That was one of the best calls we ever had. Yeah. This is, I think, Rayondis from Baltimore.
Jason and Karen, this is Rayondis from Baltimore. I just wanted to tell you guys I love the show, been listening since season 3. And it definitely makes my week when I listen to you guys after watching the show. My thoughts on the show, basically it was a badass episode all the way around. Everyone killing, people being their necks bit off. Thing that kind of threw me off was Rick's last line. They don't know who they're screwing with. When I first heard it, I thought, this is kind of corny. I would have went with Vin Rames from Pulp Fiction, it's time to get medieval on the ass or something like that. But the more I play it back in my head, it's kind of badass. Anyway, thanks for taking my call, listening. I always want to do a zombie noise, so here it is. Did Rick just take my meal? Thanks, guys. Don't get bit in the throat by another human. Thanks.
You too, Rayondis.
That zombie sounded a lot like the clickers in Last of Us, man. So if you haven't played, maybe you've been playing that game and that's why you're starting to sound like them. But check that game out. Clickers. Yeah, there's these zombies that are all like, they have this hard formation all over their head and they go and if they get near you, they'll kill you with one bite. So usually in a game, you can take a lot of damage, but these guys, they just clamp right onto your neck and you're dead.
Ah. Wow,
it's kind of disconcerting. Nice. Okay, how we have Erica from Texas.
Hi, Jason. Hi, Karen. This is Erica from Round Rock, Texas. I'm just calling to say that I did like the season finale. It made me realize that children, like Carl's age, I have a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, and wow, you really don't know your kids. You forget that they're individuals, and it is possible that they could have bad thoughts, and we all just put our kids up in this pedestal and want them to be the best they can be, and in our hearts we hope they are, but we really truly don't know, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit. So I loved that they had that scene with Michonne and the little kid. Oh my God, I can't remember his name. Anyways, love your show. I can't wait to hear it. Bye.
Bye.
Wait, what bad thoughts is she talking about? Because Carl said something about I'm a monster.
Yes.
But,
yeah, that's probably what she's talking about.
Did he say what he meant by that? I missed it.
I think no, he didn't say what he meant by that, but I think it's implied that he feels bad about the person that he's had to become.
Okay.
And he's had to kill people. Yeah.
But it seems like she's responding to something that I missed. So if you could write in and tell me exactly, because I don't understand. Like, I feel like I missed something because he said I'm not the person Rick thinks I am. I'm a monster too. But maybe he said something in particular why he thought that, because I didn't really get it.
I didn't either then.
Okay. Thanks for calling in though. And write in.
Yeah, thanks, Erica.
We're calling again. This is Evan from Detroit.
Hey, Walking Dead cast. This is Evan. I just wanted to call to update my opinion. That doesn't even get 2.5 stars. I might have emailed that, but you know what? The more I think about that episode, oh my God, it makes me so fucking pissed. Disappointing isn't even the word for it. It's just, this is like totally a letdown, and now I've got to wait 7 months. It's like the Walking Dead equivalent of blue balls. Man, and I'm also pissed they killed off all those claimers. I could really deal with Joe going in there and punishing all of them for their lying and just, they're so annoying. Anyways, I don't even know if this is going to really be a zombie noise, but this is to everyone in terms of... Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
He didn't like it, but is that just because he wrote an email, but is it just because he has to wait, I wonder?
Yeah, I was wondering too. Like, are you pissed because now you have to wait? Because I'm pissed about that too. But
it's a good kind of like, ooh, I want to know what happens next. That's better than if you were like, oh, I'm not going to watch it anymore. I don't care.
It's life in the off season, man. But like I said, we're here for you people.
That's Evan Shapiro, by the way. He's written in a lot. Thanks for calling, man.
Yeah,
this
thanks, Evan.
is Des from Ohio.
Hey guys, this is Des calling about the season finale of the episode A. This was a really hard one to watch, almost as hard as the little girls one. I would have to give this episode 4.95 plates of Mary's Mystery Meat. The only thing that kept it from getting a 5 point was it was really hard to watch the part where Carl was laid flat on his stomach. Really upset my family. I mean, it was good for the story. It brought out Rick, if it was just for 2 or 3 seconds. It's amazing how fast he got through those guys. I mean, it was crazy. One thing I am worried about, they're all in Boxcar A together. How many do you think are actually going to get out of there? You know somebody's going to go right off the bat when the first episode starts next season. Only thing to look forward to, we got Tyrese and Carol out there walking around. You know they're probably not going to get caught. They're probably going to find some way in there. Hopefully we'll see Emily Kinney soon too. Okay, well, I hate to see this be the end of the season. It's going to be a long time before we get to October.
Nope, he got cut off.
Oh.
But yeah, I didn't think about that. Somebody might die right off the bat next season.
No.
Scary. Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say. Also, he said he couldn't believe how fast Rick went through all those guys, but Michonne popped a cap in a few of them.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, turned the guy's gun on himself,
yeah,
which I loved.
Right.
That was a good human kill of the week too.
Okay, that's it for listener remotes going to grunts. Thank you guys for writing and calling in, and hope some of you guys keep on sticking with us over the break and keep writing and calling in.
Yeah, we'll have good stuff over the break. We promise.
Okay, so let's move on quickly. I want to cover some contest stuff. So we announced last time the Clementine hat contest, and we've only gotten one entry so far, and I think people are scared to call in and give their Clementine impersonations.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it is a little like, it's a little intimidating, I think, to call in and pretend like that, but it's fun, so just do it. And you might win a hat because there haven't been that many entries.
If you don't get more than 2 entries, I'm gonna enter, and I'm gonna make my Clementine impersonation. Yeah, so yeah, listeners, I want that hat, man.
Yeah, because if only 2 people enter and there's 3 hats, then you could call in and just say, "Hey, I'm Clementine," and then you'd win.
I would be 3rd place, but dang it, I'd get a hat.
You'd be like, "Hey, I'm Clementine." But anyways, if you call, or actually the way I want you to enter this is to either send in an audio file or email it to brains@walkingdeadcast.com, or use our send voicemail button right on our website there, walkingdeadcast.com. And if you do the send voicemail button and then you end up not liking the way it came out, then you can just do a second one and I'll just ignore the first one. So that's fine. But, to enter that, do it before Sunday, April 13th, or by Sunday, April 13th, and make it 30 seconds or less, and you can win. Now we're going to announce the winner of our Walking Dead survival kits, which I don't think I forgot to show you it last time you were here, Karen, but it's pretty awesome.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a 2-person survival kit from First My Family, and it's a military style bag, and it's actually a really nice quality canvas bag. and it's durable, and inside is a flashlight, water, first aid kit. I already used one Band-Aid from mine. Blankets, food rations, and a whole bunch of stuff. And so it's an authentic kit that you could use to keep you going for a few days in case of an emergency. And Andrew Torres, who is heads up First My Family, let us know that in addition to this 2-person Walking Dead survival kit that you can buy from his website, they're now offering a 1-person kit for $69.99. So if you go to firstmyfamily.com, you can check that out. But anyways, a lot of people entered this contest, and thank you to the ones that you did. Andrew Torres judged all your entries, and the winner is Johan Romero.
Woo!
Congratulations. So I thought we would read his entry. It's kind of long, so we'll go back and forth. It starts out, well, I live in New York City in a small apartment without a balcony, own no land, car, or guns, so I'm pretty much dead. Oops, wrong way to start that.
Okay, and he says, short term, survivors, 2 adults, 1 dog. Shelter, I live on the first floor facing the street, so it's a great way to keep track of what's happening in the street. Would cover the windows with a heavy blanket, move the dresser to the front door. Water, we have a water filter and water bottles at home, collect rainwater. Food, we have some canned food handy, 1 to 2 weeks worth, have some seeds for planting. Batteries, we have some handy, not much, only what we can store. Tools, hammers, T-rule, duct tape, yardstick ruler, would sharpen down. Metal legs from the folding table, 4-in-1 emergency electronic device.
For long term, he says, shelter, there's a beautiful high iron gated Pentecostal church with grass a few yards around the corner from us. The trick is to get there in one piece. I would strap my bling 20-pound dog on my back in a makeshift carrier, would device a half-fake wood paneling rolling grocery cart body armor. I would take apart bookshelves, panels, drill them around the rolling cart with the bottom of cart removed. 2 small people could fit in containment with the aid of wheels. Cut a few holes wide enough for seeing, make round holes for sharpened stakes. I guess this is for zombies more than like earthquakes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You think?
Carry some tools, small clothes, and some lightweight food, matches, soap, first aid kit, rocks for distraction. Would definitely lock up my apartment. We would go there in 10 to 15 minutes, realistically, climb the chicken wire fence behind the church and hide out quietly on a high stone perch while waiting to clear out any Zeds. Less to clear out if event does not happen on a Sunday. Yay. After clearing out, would start securing entrances from people and hiding Zeds.
Food. There's a supermarket diagonally located from the church. Would be forced to go out on my own for a raiding. More dangerous but necessary. Start by getting any vegetables / fruit with seeds to plant. That's a smart idea. Any canned food with sugar and high in preservatives. Basically anything left or capable of fighting for.
Water. Start placing plastic containers to collect rainwater. Cover with plastic / fabric to prevent bugs or dirt from falling in.
Man, he's thought this out.
I know.
Tools. There's a pharmacy located diagonally, so would try to raid for antibiotics / painkillers and insulin for my diabetic dog.
Oh. And finally, I would try to find spray paint to write a help sign on the roof of the church. Farm food, become vegan, and constantly do surveillance. Hopefully nice neighbors would join in to help, and with unity, we would clear out and create watches. There's a lot of people in New York City, so there would be many roaming evil bands. Finally start praying for aliens to come help us. So you win, and I will email you and get your address so we can send this thing off to you.
That's
Andrew
great.
said that he was going to award second place to Daniel Handyside for creativity. Daniel says, my ultimate survival plan is 3 easy steps. 1, find Andrew and his family. 2, follow them like a lost puppy, leeching from their experience. 3, try not to bumble off a cliff or something. So he's from Pittsburgh. And
Yay!
You don't win anything, Daniel, by the way, but maybe you'll at least be safe in an emergency with that plan.
Wow. Yeah, and we got to and you had a badass plan. Plus you're from Pittsburgh.
Yay. Okay, so that's it for contests. Now we're going to have our Comic Talk section with Mr. Blog and Gracie Lou. Take it away, guys.
Hey everyone, I'm Mr. Blog.
And I'm Grace, and this is Comic Talk.
Today we are going to look at how The Walking Dead episode A compares to the comic.
Let's go ahead and talk about the very first thing that popped up, and that would be that one survivor that we see in his lonesome being accosted by all those zombies. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that one was from issue 51 in the comic, and I like they even had the guy looking the same with his glasses and everything.
Yeah, they really did, and they even got the eyelid bite. Which I remember was always very disturbing in the book to see, like, I don't know, it's weird to watch a zombie like biting into somebody's eyelid and pulling it away. And he's screaming. The only thing that got different with the guy, if you look at the picture of him and then in the comic, is he's got this bad stash going. You know, he's got a bad mustache in the book, but not in the show. But man, did you notice that even his glasses were exactly the same?
Yeah, I thought he looked very similar. Actually, I didn't notice the mustache. Maybe I forgot he had a mustache, but
he looked like a bit of a little, pardon me, for a bit of like an accountant of some sort who suddenly found himself in the middle of the apocalypse in the book, you know. And of course they changed it a little bit. I mean, just when it happened. And is also they don't find his El Camino afterwards with 2 weeks worth of food and all these other things like they do in the book. But it was a great moment of just like, oh my God, I recognize that. I've seen that, you know. And so they got that in there, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. And it kind of went down the same way where Carl wanted to help him and Rick kind of held him back and no, it's too late.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good lesson for little Carl. Well, he's not so little anymore, but for Carl to learn. So, let's go ahead and get into the big thing that happened that I think personally got me the most excited this episode. But what we as comic readers know of as the Marauders is suddenly Joe's gang.
Yeah. They did such a good job with this one.
Okay, so this is from issue 57. When did you know this is what was happening? Did you know this right away?
I pretty quickly, I was like, just how they came up on them. A few episodes earlier, we had their talk in the house with the rapey kind of talk and everything. So I was pretty quickly, I knew what was going to go down. Okay. But to see it was something else.
See, for me, it was right when the one guy says, or when Joe says, you know, no, we're going to kill Daryl. Then we're going to do the woman. Then we're going to do the boy. Mm-hmm. And right when they say going to do the boy, I think that's at the moment I leapt up to my feet and I was watching with Maggie, my 11-year-old, and I was just said, oh my God, this is it. They're doing them. No, they're not going to do this. No way. This is too dark. This is too crazy. And holy fuck, they did it. I couldn't believe that they actually went as far as they did with this. I mean,
it was intense.
It really was. And then as far as where it matches up with the comic, Rick does the headbutt to the guy the same way that he did to Joe. They struggle a little bit, and the guy pins Rick in the exact same way Joe did, and even said, I think, the same comment of, now what are you going to do, huh? Or something like that.
And unfortunately, we didn't get the "you fucked up man brought a stump to a fist fight."
Exactly.
Didn't get that
you're right.
in the TV show, but
yeah, it would have made no sense for sure. But you're right. You fucked up. You brought a stump to a fist fight is a great line. But to see Rick actually chomping down on Joe's throat or neck in the way that he did, and even following, I mean, again, almost perfect panel for panel to the point of spitting
out that chunk of flesh.
Oh God. And then I'm standing there again. I'm standing up just going, oh. And I turn to Maggie and I go, okay, he's going to say, I know what he's going to say. If he says it, it's exactly like the comment. If he says he's mine, and sure enough, Rick's like, he's mine. I'm like, oh my God, he said it. And I was just elated. So that, I mean, and my apologies for being elated for such a disturbing and just ridiculously dark scene, but
they did a good job of it, though. Yeah.
I mean, it was very effective in the comic, and it was even more effective here. I was just blown away by it. And then to hear, again, matching up perfectly with the comic and the show, the shunk, 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 shunk of that knife just going in and out and in and out and in. And I mean, it's so disturbing. Of course, then they do change it up a little bit. I mean, in the book, it is Abraham and Rick and Carl on their way to go get Morgan when this happens, and it's just three guys that attack him. But that conversation between Rick and Daryl was relatively in line with the conversation he has with Abraham, which was essentially in the book, Abraham and Rick kind of talking about the worst things that have happened to them, and finally getting Abraham's backstories about what brought him to this point.
Right.
And we get that mirror with Daryl explaining, I didn't know what they would do and all those things. So that was.
I thought Michonne's conversation with Carl was a little bit like that too. Her monster talk. It kind of reminded me also of Abraham's talk with Rick. That kind of matched up with the Daryl one that you were just talking about.
Because with Abraham and Rick, when they are talking, is they don't realize that Carl's already listening in, and then all of a sudden Carl chimes in with, "Well, I shot a man in the neck," referring to Shane. And he chimes in on it, and then that's when, and it is one of my favorite moments in the comics, when Rick and Carl just kind of hug there for a minute, and you see tears streaming down both of their faces, and Abraham looks away. That's all he can do. They're all sitting together, but he just looks away, because like that's a moment between a father and a son, and I'm intruding in that, but he's part of it. It was so great to see that come to life, and I was just tickled pink that they managed to bring that to the show in a way that didn't feel forced. It didn't feel shoehorned in, and it was a natural flow for everything that had come before. Because I'd been wondering, like, all right, what's going to happen with this Joe gang and Daryl? I mean, we've all been wondering that. What a resolution. What a fucking resolution. I just loved it. So
they did a good job of it.
All right, so let's move on to the final thing, which matches up between the comic and episode A, as they're referring to it.
Yeah, the final one was Rick's quote, and that comes from issue 64 in the comic. And they changed it up a little bit to be a little more TV friendly, but it was basically the same. And in the comic, he was talking about the group of cannibals that are often referred to as the Hunters before he viciously took them out. In this one, and I think a lot of people who read the comics there, and we got some evidence in the show, which I'm sure Jason and Karen are going to talk about, that we're pretty sure that they're cannibals.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I know some people are saying maybe not, but oh, come on. There was a pile of bones on a tarp, for crying out loud.
Yeah. So, but we get the quote, they're going to feel pretty stupid when they find out. And
find out what?
Then, yeah. They're screwing with the wrong people. And of course, in the comic, it was they're fucking with the wrong people. And a lot of people really wanted to hear that. But
I know. And of course, it even led with motherfuckers. They're going to feel pretty stupid when they find out.
Right.
I don't, what's funny, and I was looking back on both the Marauders scene and even in the Hunters part. In the book, that is almost I have to say, it's almost my favorite Rick Grimes. The way he looks, he's got the dirty, long, stringy hair. He doesn't have a full beard going on. It's a little scruffy. He's still thin. He's on the road. He hasn't got the cop jacket back on. That's almost my favorite Rick, and I feel like we even saw that in the show, and the way that he did not look defeated at the end there when he did say they're screwing with the wrong people. It just... I don't know.
He was not doubting himself one bit.
No,
nice
not one bit. So it's great, and I'm really looking forward to what season 5 is going to bring in terms of how it resolves this problem of the termites, as Andrew Lincoln referred to them on Talking Dead, but the people at Terminus, and I also noticed. The leader of the cannibals or the hunters in the book is Chris. Of course, this guy is Gareth that we see. But there was a brief quote where they said, "Oh, Albert must have been watching the perimeter watch," and they were kind of like, Albert. That's the sense I got from it. Albert is named in the books. Albert is the one who complained about when they found out he was eating tainted meat. He said he was going to cut his tongue out.
Yeah.
That's Albert. So I think we know why they made a joke about, Albert must have been watching the perimeter fence, because I don't think Albert is the brightest tool in the sheds, or excuse me, the sharpest tool in the sheds. So
very good.
Yeah. So, and if those of you looking, that quote of Rick's is in issue number 64. So go ahead, guys, seek that out, take a look, match it up. Great stuff this season. Unfortunately, Grace, you and I only had 4 episodes to talk about this season.
Well, it was nice to end on this really good one, though.
It really was. I thought, and I, we generally don't comment on the show, but I do love how they have paid so much homage to the comic this season, while at the same time deviating more than enough to fill out the gaps in which we didn't know what was going on in the book. So they've given us some of that filler in many ways, and I thought it's been really effective. And I'm just very excited for what they're going to do with this in season 5.
Me too.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up.
Okay, goodbye.
All right, that's our show, episode 142. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
So for the off season, I just want to say, first of all, for everyone who just listens while the show is on, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you in October, which I say every year. And for everyone else, we're glad to have you over the break. And by the way, we haven't talked a whole lot of what we're going to podcast on. We're going to talk about The Returned. And by the way, I forgot to mention yet, but I'm supposed to talk to Scott Gimple Wednesday. So maybe later this week, there'll be a Scott Gimple interview for you guys.
Cool.
Which I'm really excited about because I've been trying to get him for like over a year.
Yeah.
So it's finally scheduled. So we'll see.
That's awesome.
But anyways, last season we did a lot of stuff with other podcasters, but I think people were missing the movie reviews, so maybe we can do more of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Horror
there's some
and
good,
zombie.
Yeah, there's some movies coming out too, so it would be good.
You can get Mr. Blog in on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
to.
And if any listeners have ideas, you can send them to us.
Definitely. We'll also do our annual wrap-up crossover with Chris and Jason of the Talking Dead. So that might be our next regular podcast. We're not sure when we're going to do it yet, but expect something after the Gimple interview, like in the next 2 or 3 weeks from us.
Sweet.
And we'll try. I will not let 1 month go by without having 2 podcasts of some sort out. They may not come out on a regular basis, but on average, once every 2 weeks at the least.
Nice.
By the way, I want to take this chance to ask you guys one last time to go on iTunes. If you like what we've been doing, go on iTunes and give us a rating or a review. We totally appreciate that. And if you haven't had a chance to do that yet, we would definitely appreciate it. So thank you for that. I wanted to also thank you guys for trying to get Melissa McBride to come on. People went and tweeted her like crazy. And I think she just doesn't like to do interviews. She didn't respond, and I don't want to keep nagging her like that. So let's give her a break.
But we love you, Melissa McBride.
We love you, Melissa, and we appreciate all you guys who reached out and said great. You did great. You're like, oh, Jason and Karen are nice, and we know you'd have fun, and they put it in their own words and just gave it the college try. So
that's so nice.
I'm hoping that we'll run into her in Atlanta or one of these Walker Stalker cons, and maybe we can make a connection that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got to meet us. We're very nice.
We won't. What the hell are you gonna do now, sport?